Hi, I'm Ranjith Cherickel. I'm the CEO of iColo, which is a digital real company based in Africa, and we manage a few assets in East Africa, in Tanzania, in Kenya and Mozambique. I'm very excited to actually introduce TejPal Bedi, who's been many years in the industry in East Africa, and actually very specifically been responsible for one of the first data centers that came up in the region. Um, Tej works for Seacom, which, interestingly enough, is also responsible for the connection between erstwhile Interaction, which is now Digital Realty, and iColo. At that time, the management team had gone to Marseille and said, "Hey, we like what you guys do in France. We'd like you to do something similar for us in Mombasa. Could you come have a look?" And in that process was how DLR discovered iColo, and eventually, as they say, the rest is history. So it's with a lot of pleasure I'm happy to announce that Tej has found time to come chat with us, tell us a bit about the journey that Seacom's had over the last few years. Um, Tej, thank you for joining.
Thanks very much, Ranjith. Yeah, pleasure. Yeah, I think our journey goes much earlier
That's right.
of bringing DCs into Africa. My journey of being in a dial-up ISP, selling it, part of Internet Solutions, going into education, and then going into the Salesforce.com ecosystem, and then back into the industry. And yeah, it's been exciting times from what we've seen, 25 years plus, to where the industry has become, and the maturity. Thank you for
Indeed,
having
and
me.
I think that's what's special about this particular talk is the fact that you've seen the genesis of so many great things, from basic dial-up to subsea connectivity to a variety of things. So I think it's a good chat, a good chance for everybody to see where we start and where we are. So I've got a few questions. I'll start with the first. There are obviously challenges, at every point in our genesis, and I was going to say that the one that strikes is the transformation journey today, that digital as well as connectivity transformation. And I'm curious to know how Seacom is addressing that in the African context.
So look, there are two sides of the business. One is getting basic connectivity to businesses, B2B,
Mm-hmm.
getting basic connectivity to B2C as well. And that, remember, has changed over the years from satellite communication to when Seacom arrived in 2009, drastically changed, the way we were doing business. Companies are now more comfortable going online. Companies are going into the cloud because of that basic infrastructure of internet has now transformed, where people can trust, then they know they'll have 24/7 connectivity to their basic businesses. So of course the challenges are last mile connectivity, but again, we've come a long way. There is
Mm-hmm.
now full redundancy to most of our customers, and with our investments that we've been doing in Kenya and Uganda. So I think we've come a long way. Where will it go? Still a lot more to be done, and I think basically for people like you and I, it's where are the customers? What are they doing with the internet? What are they trying to access? Is what we are trying to solve here. Seacom, iColo, is it the ERPs that are going on the cloud? Today you don't have a conversation with a customer apart from without talking about what's your cloud journey.
That's right.
And everyone who's the top 100 companies have a cloud journey. Pan-African businesses have the same, and even the SMEs. So there's a lot more prevalence of the cloud. So yeah, challenges and opportunities.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you look at our ecosystem in general in East Africa, I mean, obviously we provide the data centers. You're a big part of the connectivity story. Customers bring their servers and racks. I mean, how do you think Seacom is working with the other stakeholders in the in the tech ecosystem in general to make it perhaps more fruitful and less cumbersome to operate in?
Yeah. So look, it's I bring back to what are customers wanting to do today? Everyone's put their ERP online. Where are they accessing? Is it Amazon? Is it Microsoft? And of course, with more of them coming to the African region, the cheaper things will become. 5G. How will that affect the low hanging satellites? what will that change? What will Amazon's plans for Africa do? So I think those are technologies to watch out for, and of course, where we're giving a lot of cloud connectivity to people that are connecting to the South African Amazon instances, Azure instances, that will probably come to you at some point, and your competitors, and that's obviously good for Africa, good for East Africa.
So we as we transform from from one end to the other end of the spectrum, which is going from sub megabyte connectivity to now 400 gig rings that you're building around, it'd be interesting to understand the transformation of Seacom as well, from a subsea only company to now an enterprise connectivity plus subsea buying links. Could you perhaps tell us a little bit about the growth of Seacom in general in the region, and what you see are as key trends?
No, absolutely. So the main thing that we've been investing in is in scalable optical technology for our undersea cables. What we're doing in West Africa, what more we're doing in East Africa and South Africa. And that to me is really more capacity, more redundancy, multiple cables coming in, multiple cables connecting customers. So, that in terms of where we are investing in last mile connectivity, what we invested in Nairobi, in a metro ring, our investment in Kampala when we acquired Africell. So that are big opportunities, how we work hand in hand with the exchange points. Multiple exchange points now are coming. We only had the Kenya Internet Exchange Point. The Links Exchange Point has announced some kind of coming into the market. To me, that's redundancy, that's maturity in the market. When we see what's happening in Amsterdam or London, and that's coming to East Africa, it'll come to South Africa and West Africa as well.
And how would you say Seacom is preparing for the future of connectivity in Africa, and what new technologies or services are you planning to roll out in the years to come?
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff we're doing, apart from the basic optical fiber that's coming in. Capacities have increased, technology has leapfrogged, and we're doing some work with on laser technology, bridging the gap between last mile. So there's a lot of stuff that we're doing that is going to change the business that's going in. For us, there was an acquisition that happened late last year called EOHNS in South Africa that brought managed services, resources, and capabilities. I believe that's will come to East Africa. Already other companies are doing that, so that companies can run their core competence. What they a manufacturer should concentrate on manufacturing. A bank should talk about what they want to do with their customers. What's their digital journey? What's their cloud journey? And leave the basics IT to companies like ourselves. And that's the future of where we probably will invest.
And what about capacities on some of these new subsystems that are coming up, circling the continent? Is that something Seacom has a vested interest in?
Absolutely. So, iColo is some of we got a fiber pair that we are lighting ourselves. There is something we're doing with To Africa in the East Coast. I think exciting times. It's not that they are competitors to Seacom. I think Seacom is now evolving to the enterprise business, and these are important markets for us. We are in East and South Africa, so eventually there'll be more growth for me. I focus on the East Africa market. Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. Let's see what happens with DRC. Ethiopia. You've seen the investment that Safaricom's done there with multiple vendors now going in. I think that's another huge market, and that really adds the flavor in the East Africa market with investors coming in. Foreign direct investments have been on the up. A lot of funding coming in for the fintech businesses, for iColos of the world. And that's exciting times. It means it's, we've got good growth in the GDPs, election behind us last year. We can now focus on growing businesses and the basics. East Africa or Kenya has been an agro-based economy, but look at what we've done in the last 5 years. to some of the things, that businesses are investing in. When I look at fintech, very exciting things that are happening both in Kenya and Uganda. We don't have a real good credit reference bureau where, if you're in Europe and you're borrowing money, you'll have your credit reference or your credit check. What
That's
you're
right.
here. And so people are using mobile phones, they're using, the M-Pesa technology 2.0 or 3.0 you can talk about. So I guess that's really the exciting things that are coming in.
Indeed. And actually, if you layer that conversation with the fact that there's about 300 million people in East Africa, we've seen sort of subsea connectivity go from 1 or 2 terabits to new systems delivering over 160 terabits, 75% of the population being below the age of 30. It really brings a heady mix. And I'm wondering, what do you think, the global communities can provide and do to help the African businesses and certainly also build our tech ecosystem? And, what do you think is the role for Seacom in that mix?
So look, I mean, maybe is an overall technology role. We've got India that has been producing the developers of the world. Kenya's education system has been aligned. We've got a lot more human resource now, talent, capacity in East Africa, in Kenya, in Uganda. Some of our customers, like the BPOs, are running call centers in Kenya. We provide those services. So again, those are some of the things that are going to come here. How does Seacom help? Of course, good connectivity. We will provide that. There is something we're looking at in the Seacom Academy. How can we develop our own staff here?
Yeah.
I've been passionate about talent acquisition and growing talent. As I sat on the board of one of the universities, and you see the kind of things that we can do with better education,
Absolutely.
connectivity, better hosting. 10 years ago, banks were all reluctant to put things away from their server room. It wasn't a data center. So today, everyone hosts it at iColo. And that means, you provided a service that people are saying, okay, well, we don't need to replicate power. We don't need to replicate air conditioning. Sorry, yeah, I'm preaching here to the converted here. So
Absolutely. Maybe a little bit about your experience. You've been sitting on the board of the internet exchanges in Kenya, and you've seen the growth in traffic, and you continue to see what's coming. How would you connect your role both at Seacom and and how you support the local ecosystem to grow the internet exchange?
So yeah, I sit on the board of TejPal, which is Technology Service Providers of Kenya, and basically, guiding. We also run the Kenya Internet Exchange Point. So with our CEO and the board, we are now working with people like CAPSA from a technology point of view. How do we assist governments policy that can help in the Kwanza Business Park or whichever parks will come in, that we become the Bangalore of East Africa. And so, you're looking at voice services that are being outsourced in Kenya. If we can get that ecosystem for developers, my previous business was Salesforce.com that I ran one of the partner firms in East Africa. And it was really about bringing that talent. And you see, Kenyans are very, not only are they enterprising, but you've got a lot of talent, good, intelligent people that, given the opportunity, can change what we're doing.
Indeed. So if I were to change gears just a little bit as we come to the end of our session, if you, I know you're a science fiction buff, and if you were to pick any tech that you could think of from that, that would basically be something very interesting for you, and perhaps even in a professional context, what would that be?
Yeah, I think I say this with tongue in cheek, is really, I would say, warp speed. And how do we use optical to move faster, travel at the speed of light? And because I think we've hardly touched the tip of the iceberg to what's out there. And to me, the most exciting thing will be is that if we do find intelligent form, AI will probably be what we're talking about today. is probably what they did 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And there'll be a lot to learn from them, and obviously we don't want to be like the Matrix, but
Yeah.
I think that to me would be an exciting bit. If we found intelligent life, what have they done? Is this what they did 20 years ago? It'll be good to learn what we can do much faster, and adapt it and improve our lifestyles, our businesses, the lifestyle of the local Mwananchi. So, that's what I would probably say.
Excellent. Well, fantastic, Tej. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for everybody else that has tuned in. I'm very grateful we got a chance to chat like this. And to those that have tuned in, please be ready to check out the rest of the agenda and for more sessions like these. Enjoy.
Thanks very much, Ranjith. Appreciate it. Bye
Pleasure.
for now.
Likewise.